Welcome students, you are here today to do map testing and we're going to go through some of the directions. So I'm going to explain a lot of the questions that might come up during the test, and then we're going to go ahead and get you logged in, and we're going to get you started as quickly as possible. So let's go ahead and do this. So first things first, what's the goal of this test? The idea here is that we want to make sure that your teachers know what you know, and so that they can use that information to plan your classes specifically for you. To that effect, this is what's known as an adaptive test. Because the test wants to know what you know and don't know, it will change difficulty based on your answers to questions. So if you get something right, the test is going to get harder. If you get something wrong, the test is going to get easier. So if you're noticing that you're getting a bunch of really hard questions in a row, all that really means is that you're completely killing it and you are actually like crushing this test. If you're someone who's used to taking tests and getting a lot of questions correct, know that today it's going to be a little bit harder than that. It's going to try to figure out where the point is where you can't get questions correct, because if you knew everything, then we wouldn't have anything to teach you. So expect this test to feel a little bit different in that way, and don't be surprised when the difficulty bounces around. I often get asked how long the test is. It depends. Everybody takes it in a different amount of time. For math, you're looking at about 50 questions. For reading, you're looking at about 40 questions. For most people, this takes about an hour, but I've seen anywhere from 30 minutes to 3 hours. Just depends on the speed that you're working at. I do recommend that you try to pay attention. Don't spend more than about 3 minutes on each question. If you find that you're spending like 4, 5, 6 minutes on a question, you're going to be here for a really long time. And probably what that means is that you don't really know how to answer that question. You should take your best educated guess and move on forward to the next one where you might have something that's a little bit more in your wheelhouse. In terms of taking breaks, you can take a break whenever you need to. Less than 5 minutes, you don't really need to do anything about it. If you need more than a 5-minute break, you do need to let me know so that we can do something with the test on my end. During the test, you can write anything down you want to. In fact, if you're taking math today, I highly recommend that you have something to write with, and like a piece of paper or a pad next to you, whatever it is that you need, so that you can write out some scratch work. You also want to make sure that you have power, either that you're on full battery or that you are plugged in right now. You do not want your computer dying in the middle of the test. It will automatically save, but it is a pain to get logged back in and everything like that. So just make sure you have that energy. And then the last thing is that if you are taking a math test today, you by default don't need a calculator, but the test will a lot of times give you a calculator on the problems. And so I want you to pay attention to that blue bar at the top. When you see that calculator icon pop up, the one that I have highlighted right there, you can click on it and it will show a calculator inside the test that you can use. You also might notice those other buttons. You can use them if you want to highlight things in problems or change how big the zoom is. So you can mess around with those if you want, or you can just leave them be for any of the other tests. They don't do anything all that special. If you don't know the answer to a question, like I said, that's going to happen on this test. You're supposed to get questions that are too hard for you to answer because we want to know what you know and what you don't know, right? So that's a part of it. You can take an educated guess and then move on to the next problem. Like, don't get stuck. Remember I said try to stick to about 3 minutes per question as an absolute maximum. You can't change answers to your questions, though, so don't think to yourself, ooh, I'll come back to this one later. Once you've picked an answer, you got to keep going forward because the test says, okay, you got that right. I want to make it harder, or I want to make it easier, right? That's what the test is doing all along. If you have any problems, I'm going to have a breakout room to the side that's a support room. That is a place that I'll send you if we're really trying to figure out what's going on and having some difficulties. So you can use the breakout rooms button in Zoom to go and do that. Probably what's easiest, though, if you think it's a small problem, is you can just send me a chat. It's polite if you try to make sure that your chat is private. Not everybody needs to know that you're having whatever problem with your test. That way I can respond directly in the chat to you. If it's quiet in here, you're also allowed to come off of mute and ask me directly, and I can help you out from there. Suppose that you don't want to hear anybody asking me questions, or I'm going to have students logging in and still registering for the test while you're testing. You can use the breakout rooms to go to the quiet testing room. I do recommend this for anybody who wants to just turn off their camera, turn off their microphone, do their own test. You can go right in there. And then that's pretty much it, right? The test runs itself. You don't need me once I get you started. I just want to warn you all about the speed limit on this test. This test can tell when you are just skipping questions. I don't mean you've read it and you're like, I don't know how to do this. I tried. I'm going to give it my best guess. I mean, like, you don't even read the question. You just click the next button because you're trying to get finished. The test can tell that you're doing that. And when you hit that point, the test is going to lock you out, and you have to come and find me, and I have to unlock the test for you. Take your time, make sure you read every question. That's the only way you can avoid getting stopped by the test, by going too quickly, okay? You'll know you're finished. It's going to be very obvious. At the end, it will say, congratulations, you finished the test. Once you see this screen, it automatically saves your results. You are free to log off. You don't need to do anything else, unless you're taking 2 tests today, in which case you should stick around and let me know. But for most of you, you're just going to take 1 test. All right, let's get you logged in. If there are no other questions, I'm going to go through these login steps for everybody. If you have questions, start putting them in the chat, because I'm still going to be talking, because this is a video that's running right now. I need you to go to this website, and there's a session name and a session password. All of those things I will be dropping in the chat right now. So you'll click on that link, you'll put in that session name, you'll put in that session password. It'll be a website that looks like this with a rocket ship, and then you click on the blue arrow to log in. If you're getting something weird, like your screen resolution is off, or your operating system, like it gives you an error, I can help you with all those problems. Send me a message, maybe we'll move over to the support room and we'll get you set up. Just after I get everybody else logged in. All right, so for completing your login, if you manage to get to this screen right here, you're going to choose your name from the list right there. Hopefully, if I've done my job correctly, I've already picked your test for you, either math or reading, based on which one you're doing today. If I didn't pick a test for you, that probably means that you're taking 2 tests today. And so you can choose the one that you want to do first. If you're not sure, you're convinced that you're only supposed to take 1 test today, you think I made a mistake and didn't put a test in for you specifically, you can just chill out, let me know, send me a message in the chat, say, hey, I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be taking math or reading, and I can help you out with that. Once you've accepted that that's your correct name, that's the correct test, it's going to verify your information. If your grade level is wrong, that's okay. Send me a message in the chat so I can get that fixed in the future, but you can still go ahead and test. It won't mess anything up. And then it's going to kick you over to the screen that says, please wait for the proctor, that's me, to confirm your information. After just a minute, I'll click something that says, that confirms you, that I see you on my side. Then you're going to click a blue arrow and you're going to go ahead and get started right away. From there, you just are going to do the test on your own. One last warning, make sure that you're reading the questions thoroughly. There are some questions that are like drag and drops or multiple select answers instead of just one answer. So be on the lookout for those. But otherwise, good luck everybody. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and ask me. That's the end of this directions video. Cheers.